The DICT reveals that aside from PhilHealth, there could be other government agencies targeted by hackers. The Foreign Affairs Department halts the deployment of Filipino workers in Israel as war rages there. And one senator says the removal of confidential funds from some agencies is not final yet. Fast, focused, and fearless, here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Denise Tan. The Philippine Statistics Authority is investigating reports of data breach in its system. In a statement, the PSA said that the affected data is limited to its community-based monitoring system. The agency is now assessing what personal information may have been compromised. The PSA assured that there's no leakage from the Philippine identification and civil registration systems. The Department of Information and Communications Technology earlier said that the government agencies may have already fallen prey to hackers. This comes after the PhilHealth database was attacked by a ransomware last month.
I'm not at liberty to say it yet, but there are additional agencies in government that have also been subject to a data breach. At malaki rin ito. Malaki rin ang pinsala. We are currently waiting for them for that agency to respond to all our requests. Medyo we need more cooperation on their side.
The Philippine government has put Israel under alert level 2. This means no new deployment of overseas Filipino workers to the war-torn country. The move comes after the Foreign Affairs Department confirmed that at least 2 Filipinos were killed in the raging war between Israel and Hamas. In a social media post, DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo said the Philippines condemns the killing of its citizens. He also denounced the violent attacks launched against Israel, which he described as acts of terrorism. Manalo added that the Philippines is ready to work with other countries towards a long-lasting resolution to the conflict. He reiterated that full assistance will be extended to distressed Filipino nationals in both Israel and Palestine. For his part, President Bongbong Marcos is saddened over the 2 fatalities, saying the Philippines stands firmly against the ongoing armed conflict. He also vowed support to the affected Filipinos in Israel and Gaza. Meantime, the Israel Embassy expressed its deep sympathy to the families of the Filipino victims. The embassy had earlier reported that 6 Filipinos remain missing and that they are exhausting all available means to find them. Travelers planning to visit the Holy Land may have to hold off for now. The Philippine government is recommending the halt of all trips to Israel in light of the atrocities there. Elaine Fulgencio with the details.
Many devotees flock to Israel every year to visit pilgrimage sites in the Holy Land. Israel is home to some iconic sites and is one of the most visited countries in the world. Tourists can explore the Jordan River, Dome of the Rock, Mount Zion, Garden of Gethsemane, and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Agnes and her husband are set to visit Israel this month for the renewal of their wedding vows. But their travel agency canceled their tour because of the Hamas attack on Israel over the weekend.
Nakaplano na to parang 2 years ago pa. Kaya somehow na-disappoint kami nung nalaman nga namin. Kasi nagpe-prepare na kami, nakaayos na yung mga gamit. Kaya lang syempre safety first. Kaya sabi namin siguro may other time pa naman.
The travel agency explains that their clients' safety is a priority, even if they have to deal with airlines for the rebooking fees.
It has a big effect because yun nga po, yung mga rebooking namin, we must deal to the airlines na i-waive yung mga rebooking fees.
Because of the Israel-Hamas conflict, around 100 Filipinos bound for Israel will no longer be traveling this month. Another travel agency reports that about 80 Filipino travelers will be forced to cancel their flights.
This is a very big impact for us because we are just starting since nag-open na from the pandemic lockdown. And this is another challenging situation for the travel agency industry Kasi syempre marami pong pumupunta ng Israel, hindi lang po mga Muslim, pati po mga Christians.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Embassy in Israel has recommended that all travel from the Philippines to Israel be postponed.
We're not telling you not to go, but we're advising you it's best, if possible, to postpone them until we're absolutely sure that the hostilities have ended. Because, after all, even the Prime Minister of Israel has said that we're in a state of war.
Reporting for News 5, Elaine Fulgencio, we are One News.
We're bringing you more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. Thanks for staying with us here on One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. The former assistant of suspended LTFRB Chief Teofilo Guades takes back allegation of corruption against key transport officials. Jeffrey Tumbado signed an affidavit of recantation which states that he's withdrawing whatever accusations he made during a press conference on Monday. Tumbado explained that his statements were out of impulse, irrational thinking, and poor decision-making. Tumbado's recantation is also a public apology to Guades, Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista, and the Office of the President. Recall that the OP earlier suspended Guades right after Tumbado and some transport group leaders flagged alleged corrupt practices within the LTFRB. In other news, Senator Sonny Angara says canceling confidential funds of civilian agencies is not a done deal just yet. Angara noted that nothing is set in stone as the national budget will still undergo the scrutiny of the Senate. He added the upper chamber has yet to talk to the House Appropriations panel. The House of Representatives on Tuesday removed the CIFs of several civilian agencies and realigned it to defense and security departments. Those given zero CIFs include the Office of the Vice President and the Education Department, both headed by Sara Duterte. Both houses of Congress have denied having confidential funds. Senate Secretary Renato Bantog said they only allocated a budget for extraordinary and miscellaneous expenses amounting to over 330 million pesos. He added the Upper Chamber's Oversight Committee will study the confidential and intel funds of all government agencies and will realign them accordingly. Bantog reiterated there will be no confidential funds for the Senate next year. As for the lower house representative, Stella Kimbo has this to say.
Squarely, wala pong confidential funds ang Congress. Yung pong sinasabi na 1.6 billion ay extraordinary expenses. Magkaiba po yung confidential doon po sa extraordinary. Yung extraordinary po ay fully auditable. Yung extraordinary po ay yung katulad po halimbawa ng expenses during calamities.
Shifting now to sports, new rules will be implemented for the upcoming PVL All-Filipino Conference. In a press conference earlier today, a newly appointed PVL Competition Director, Sherwin Malonzo, laid down some tweaks to shorten the length of games. According to Malonzo, there will only be one technical timeout per set, which will happen after the first team scores its 13th point. Only one coach timeout per set will be allowed. At the same time, there will be 2 video challenges per set. Coaches will also have access to their teams during challenges. Several revisions were also made for the change of courts during sets. The new PVL conference will see an addition of 2 teams, the Galleries Tower High Risers and NX-led Chameleons. With 12 teams now competing in the PVL, the league is expecting an even greater level of competition.
One thing for sure, it's gonna be more exciting because of the 2 new teams. So, mas maraming laro. Tingin ko kasi ngayon mas nagle-level off ang teams, no? With their constant training and yun nga, in preparation nila, everybody wants to beat everybody, everybody wants to win.
One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News, all sides, all the time.